If you've decided to build Flex Industrial, iOS Industrial, one of the critical steps is how to find land suitable for development. Yes, you want a good location, but you also can't afford to overpay. It sets the tone for the rest of the project. If you overpay for land, you're only going to end up over budget, and it's critical to nail this first piece. So you've got a vision for development, but do you have the right parcel? And what are the factors that are important versus other things beyond just price? What are the things that are worth paying a little bit more for? Location, location, location. Okay, you have the ability to put a box down almost anywhere in the country, short of the coastal markets. If you're building in Atlanta, if you're building in Columbus, you're building in Texas, Arizona, Colorado, there's just a lot of land available for development, even some redevelopment opportunities to knock down existing buildings. But at the end of the day, you do have a lot of options. And so you want to be close to major roads, for the company, transportation. These industrial tenants are doing two things. They're either moving product or they're moving people, moving the people from their location out to customers, or they're bringing product in and then they're redistributing after they do some value add. All right, so think about where this population is moving. What is the trend of the population? Is it increasing or is it decreasing? Well, I'm gonna start on LoopNet. Everybody knows this site. It's owned by CoStar, so it's getting a lot of those major listings, but it's free, and you don't need a costly subscription to access this. So we're going to go into the search bar here. Let's look at Dallas for sale. All right, why did I even need to click on land, guys? All right, so let's look at this land. I'm going to filter for max acres. I mean, we don't need some of these bigger parcels. I'll probably max it out at 5 acres, and min, I would probably say 1, just to give us a little bit parameters. Okay, so now you see what's available, and it's very interesting because I think that more of the available land down here, down south, as opposed to up north, it's really a reflection of the opportunity. I don't love this area. I think the incomes are low. There's a bit more risk with this, but you see up here, there's just nothing for sale. Price upon request. Okay, we may eliminate some of those because it's very frustrating to me if you're not going to put any kind of price upon request. You know, it's infill, so I think they're gonna ask you what you plan to build before they price you. So if you're going to do retail, they're going to really price you through the nose. So let's look at some of these other areas. I want to be closer to Dallas. I think along I-30 is a good opportunity. This looks like an out parcel on an existing, it's 2 million. It's just too expensive though. Okay, here's some 750. It's kind of a funky shaped parcel, a little bit of a trapezoid. I don't know, guys. These listings are just never great. I do kind of like this location, though, off of 30. So they just uploaded all the surveys. This just looks like what kind of survey is this? But it's just a boundary survey. Well, no, it's got the building here. Anyway, you're going to deal with this a lot. Why is it printing? This is a floodplain. Oh, geez. So, you're limited on buildable square footage, but they've got a car wash sketched out here at 3,000 square feet. This is not a great site. I mean, I'll just say you've got floodplain. You've got a tiny little sliver here. You've got a sign, billboard, I guess, and an easement. You are really limited, probably 1 point of egress or 2 points. But it's very interesting that you will see this a lot. For them selling a $750,000 parcel, okay, here's a very old plat. The effort on this, Mike Smith, not great. I get frustrated, and I have a lot of patience for this kind of stuff. So let's see if maybe we can get a better price, because I've given people some parameters. So let's see if we can find something. See, so there's still stuff that is 2 acres for 1.2 million. this kind of area is not super high income. City is favor commercial. Again, I would probably pass on it, but you've got to create some filters and look at this stuff. And I would say that there's opportunity here. I like this one. I like Forney. 600 for 1.2 acres is not great, but the parcel probably has some flexibility. It's in an industrial area, so if we could, so it looks like they already did a replat. Again, look, I mean, this guy is just uploading upside down images, and I almost guarantee they just never looked at it after they uploaded it to CoStar. They just said, "Oh, it's uploaded." Wait for the offers to come in, but they're not. But that means you can offer something lower, and you can probably get into the half price. All right. So what else do we have? Rockwall, all this stuff here, I think it's going to be very expensive. 3 acres for 1.5 million. Here's the land. 4 acres for 800. Again, I think this stuff works. It's mostly clear. Prime acreage. 4 acres. Might be commercial, single family development, but that's fine. For a lot of flex or iOS type low coverage, you want to be in residential neighborhoods next to a bunch of other houses. So I actually don't mind this if you can get a project up and running. These can be great locations for a business, being surrounded by all these homes. They're going to need plumbers, and it's easy access off of 20 here. So you just exit, turn right, and then boom, your property is right here. It's right at the entrance. You could do quasi retail stuff. You can get a liquor store. You could do maybe not equipment rental, but you can get the plumbers, electricians. You can get all sorts of service-based businesses, nursery, anybody that wants to serve all these homes. All right. So that's what I would do. You've just got to start clicking around and setting filters and looking at the market. The secret that I will give you for this, though, is to also look at things that aren't in your filters, because people will mislabel land all the time. It's very common, and it happens a lot, and it's how you can find some great deals. But just look at everything that's available and see if people mislabel the acreage, and maybe they put this at 2 acres when it's really 4 acres or 6 acres, so they can misprice things that way. Let's look at Crexi. This is also a good different listings. So some will be repeat here. I think here I am able to exclude unpriced. See, so that's nice. So if I have a budget and I say, look, I'm not going to spend more than 800 grand, we can eliminate all the unpriced comps. Angle, corner lot, GSW. This is not bad. This is something that I may consider spending more for GSW type land if your utility costs are down. So where is it on this? So it's a nice square parcel. K, heavy industrial. This is a pretty good site. Oh, it's not GSW in Arlington. It's North Fort Worth, but not bad either. I like this location. It's right off of. So I like this location. Let's look at the flyer. Oh gosh, you got to make an account, but it's probably worth it, guys. Yeah, easy access right off the 35. It's an industrial area. K zoning is fantastic. So again, there are deals out there. You just have to dig into the ones that show the most promise. Now, I'm going to show you 2 secret places to look for land, and that is Facebook. It is very interesting that people will list pretty good parcels that they call it residential, but it might actually be industrial. So look at all these prices obviously start a lot lower, but these markets are not great. I don't think this land is actually in Dallas. 16,000 an acre. It's close to Corsicana. 1 hour south of Dallas. So again, everything is a spectrum. What's this land for sale here? 10 acres in Toller. Fairly far south, but again, if you want to have cheaper basis, well, I don't know. Mesquite is okay. I don't know how far out this is, but this could be attractive for the basis if you want to hold it until the area starts to develop. Your hold costs for that are not very much. So again, you got to sift through a lot of, I would say, rough things. See, here's a Wiley Business Park. I like this guy. He built Flex out here in Wiley. Let's say the location. But I think he's not leased, and so that would be any of my concern. If you're going to build something out here, but he has a better location, if he's not fully leased, why would people come to you unless you can build it much cheaper? You may be able to build it cheaper, but yeah. Let's see if he has vacancies. Number of units, year built, 2 years ago. So I would just call him and see what he has available. 1,600 square feet, $15. I mean, these are healthy rents on, slightly bigger sizes, but it looks like he has at least all 3 suites available. I'm not sure, but I like the buildings. I've seen this guy around. Just don't know if the demand is there to pay those types of rates, but it's a small office, good clear height, great doors. It's got little awnings, nice window, not quite full floor-to-ceiling glass. I would like to see a little more glass on that, but nice roll-ups. We got a light, again, standard office, LVP finish out. All right, so that's Facebook. You can get a lot of information for cheap, but there's a reason it's cheap, and it might not be ready for lease-up. And then the last place, again, is Redfin. And what I want to tell people is that land gets listed here incorrectly. It gets listed as residential, it gets listed as other, and there are some real good opportunities. Let's ignore that. I'd probably say 1 acre minimum. Let's see what that gets us. Let's filter for price. We're not going to pay that much. We want a deal. We gotta look for a deal. 800, maybe $1 million. So look, we have some of that similar distribution. So you can see where people are willing to sell a lot. But 10 acres out here, could you build Flex? I mean, I kind of think so. I like this market. Let's look at this one. It's got horse. It's mostly clear. It's got some trees, no fencing. But look, if this is great opportunity for investors and develop 10 acres. Yeah, so we'd have to check the zoning. Some of these parcels are very flexible on commercial, and if you have a commercial type zoning, you can build Flex. Here's 4 acres. This one's not bad. You're gonna have to put in a lot of improvements to get the curb cuts and get access, but you're getting the basis that you want. And again, in that residential neighborhood, I do think commercial works here directly off the highway. You don't need heavy industrial per se. Well, I guess it's SF, so you don't want SF zoning. You need at least commercial for Flex. Zoning. I think zoning is one of the first steps that you should be in an area that is zoned by right for what you're doing. And what I mean is you should not anticipate needing a zoning change. That is too much complexity for an initial project, and the costs alone and the delays are going to make it not feasible. And so you don't really know how much to pay for a piece of land that you need to get a zoning change. So I would scratch that off. Utilities. Underground utilities and horizontal development work is some of the most expensive part of construction that is not necessarily in your budget when you're just looking at hard and soft costs of the building. And so you need to make sure that the land has access to utilities. We're talking water, electricity, sewer, stormwater. If not, you need to understand from the city how much it'll cost. Different jurisdictions have different cost sharing programs where if you run sewer from an intersection, and you may have to run it down the entire street, but the city may contribute a portion of those costs. Some cities do not. And so you need to know the difference maybe before you, certainly before your earnest money goes hard, but it doesn't have to be before you go under contract. You should just get a general idea. Finally, what does the site layout and the environmental situation look like? If it's raw land and it hasn't been used, that is typically safe, but it's not a guarantee. There are plenty of cases, and I've seen my clients terminate deals even for raw land because of dumping. Just because there is no licensed legal use or no signs of obvious commercial use, it could still be used for illegal dumping, and that's why a phase 1, potentially a phase 2 is critical. You want to walk the entire property and put eyes on everything to make sure that there aren't 55-gallon oil drums leaking into your land, just buried tires, that sort of thing. All right, well, I hope that was helpful, and you got to see some real life examples on both extremes. Really cheap land for $50,000 an acre, and then more expensive land at $1 million an acre. The key as a developer is to look at everything in between and find the outliers, find the diamonds in the rough where the land is better location, better shape, better zoning, but it's priced on that spectrum that's a little bit cheaper, because that's all you're looking for. You're just looking to save a few $100,000 on your land. If your budget is $400,000, don't come in expecting to spend $100,000. That's just not realistic. But you can find a deal where you save $100,000, or maybe you retrade the seller after you go under contract. So I hope this was useful. Smash that like button if you're still watching, and we'll see you for the next video in this series.